Okay, guys, I had to turn off the flash. The camera still adds more light. To be honest, in real life, this red is very much darker than what it's showing with the white balance of the camera. I use a flamenco red from Apple Barrel, and then I mix in the Apple Barrel. Oh shoot! I'm about to drop it. My Apple Barrel Black, and then I'm talking about the smallest amount of water, just enough to get it to where it's still thick and usable, but not to where it's runny like the other wash is. And then I take, this is so hard to do because it's Sunday and both of my cameramen are asleep. Ask your mom if she's got like an old towel. Wash it separately from time to time from any clothes, and then run a complete cycle with soap and no clothes in it after you're done. And use this to like dab off. So basically what you're doing is you're bringing out the raised relief. Now, if you get the red down inside the grout lines of the brick, don't sweat it, because you still got your light gray wash from before. Now, if you notice, there's a lot more gray on this. I didn't think to start the camera. These videos have taken place over a period of about 45 minutes. So it doesn't take long, y'all, for real. So you want to get like the raised edges. And if you get a little bit like on your corrugated right here, don't sweat it. You can come back in with a silver brush and dry brush all that garbage out. Anybody can paint something perfect. And one thing about art that really ticks me off is how many things in life are perfect. I keep going back to George Lucas, hence my username Jedi270. But one of the things that made George Lucas a visionary was that he wanted to do things in a used universe. You look around in regular life, and tell me how many things that aren't brand new construction or on the store shelves that are brand new, or on a car lot. Used is extremely hard to do because used is nature. And I don't know what your religious beliefs are, and in no way am I trying to infringe upon them, but my God created nature, and that's extremely hard to do. You have to find unique ways to mimic it. And when you're doing weathered items, you are just like anybody else in this world. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be a Rembrandt. Just transfer what you see with your eyes to what you're doing. And that's the key. So you have to make sure that your weathering is, you got to keep in mind first, like I said, Gotham is dirty, it's gritty, it's used, it's worn out, crime has infested the streets. And you bring crime into anything, I call that the cockroaches of the world. And they will destroy things. That's why in my hometown, it went from mom and pop's businesses. Walmart came in. Then you started getting pill clinics and lawyers every damn where. And it's just, just turned this peaceful little Norman Rockwell town into everyday America. But when crime comes into places like this, that's when you start getting grit, grime, used. And like I said, don't worry if you get too much on here into your grout lines, because that's why you don't want it too soupy. You still want it to be thick enough to where it will cover in one or two coats. But you don't want it so soupy as you have to go back and clean up all of your grout lines. Like this right here where I just got this like all over my, let me get my pointer out here, my redneck pointer. That, like right in there, that's all going to be covered up anyway. So, wow, I didn't know this phone had that feature. I can zoom in without pinching. I can do it with the volume control. How cool is that? But Another thing is, once you get this mixture, it's like a one-time shot unless you measure things out. And I don't measure shit out. Again, excuse my French. I don't measure things out. I do them by what I see. Now, this is that damaged brick. You see how much color I got right there? I'm not worried about that. What I should have done was blot it. But I'm going to go back in with the dry brush gray, and all this stuff right here is where it's damaged brick anyway. And my gray wash will bring all that back out. Like over here. See how you got like next to nothing there? And watch how quickly that mixture goes. So if you mix too much paint, don't worry, because this paint's 50 cents a bottle, y'all. The big bottles are like $1.85. I suggest you buy the big bottles for blacks, grays, browns, something that you use a buttload of. But like with these cups right here, you can go to McDonald's and get a small drink cup lid, stick that on there, and then throw a little bit of Reynolds wrap and a rubber band over it, and this stuff will keep forever. So I can continue to use this paint for the other three sides. And like I said, get yourself a dab towel. Now, when you dry brush something, let's just do a dry brush tutorial. We were talking about that, right? You want to get medium, or your paint or your material. As you can see right here on my towel, looks like somebody got killed, right? You want to get your paint in your brush, loaded up, dab it on this towel until you get a lot of that out. And then you want to come in. That's called dry brushing. Okay, so you're basically just dusting that color. And you notice how the wood grain's starting to come out, and it's only hitting the tops. And you can go against the grain like this, so you don't accidentally get some in the grains. You can go back to your little dab, pick up a little bit more, and come back in. And that's how you get the raised reliefs. Now, when I'm touching this, you can tell by the sway of the brush right there, I'm very naturally I like to go one way. I go like this. Sometimes I'll go like this. But that's just the way my hand naturally wants to go. And you just work that sucker back and forth real fast till you get it done. That's dry brushing. Okay? So what that does is that's one of the best ways in the world to hit raised areas with silvers, worn armors, and that kind of thing. Now, I talked about this towel. You can take that towel, throw it in the washing machine. You don't want to make sure your mom knows what you're doing, or your wife, your girlfriend. You can come right back over here to the sink. I live in an old house, so don't. And see, watch how that washes right out. Okay? No chemicals, no stinking stuff that's going to sit there and damage your bristles. I've literally had this brush for almost 2 years. And this is my #1 go-to for my dry brushing. And I paid like 25 cents for that at Walmart. It's ridiculous, isn't it? 25 cents. And I've had that all these years. Now, I mixed that paint with this butter knife. And you can see, this comes right off. Won't damage your pipes, won't damage anything. And then when you wash that towel out, make sure that you run another cycle with soap in there and clean all that out so your mom doesn't get mad. So, that being said, let's go back over here real quick. Let's take an aerial shot of the brick, and I will start dry brushing in grays and washes and bringing all that stuff in later. And thanks for watching.